Huddersfield. It's the 27th time that this famous rugby league town has staged a semi-final match in the Challenge Cup. Many of them at the old Fartown ground, and this now the fifth successive year that the McAlpine Stadium has been home to at least one of the semi-finals. This is Paul Anderson for Bradford. Fresh instructions still ringing in the ears of all the players. And Bradford now bringing the ball away with Brian McDermott, who bounced off a couple of his foes. A couple of lines that might point from the depths of history towards a possible winner of the last 8 meetings between these sides. Bradford have won 7 and Leeds only 1. And the other note historically that's worth making is that the last 5 semi-finals that Leeds have played in the town of Huddersfield, they've lost. It's 52 years since they last won a semi-final in Huddersfield. The year that they went on to play against Bradford in the Challenge Cup final.
While history's important, though, I'm sure, John, that the players will be looking to know it's all important what happens for the next 40 minutes.
Well, looking back, there is a man who scored a try for Bradford in their win in 1947, and again in 1949. Ryan Sheridan's long kick bounces once and is taken by Tavita Vaikona, and Vaikona still keeping the ball alive with Scott Naylor, and now with Henry Paul.
And the consensus from the benches is that the Leeds dressing room was happier, in a happier frame of mind at half-time than was the Bradford dressing room. Though you won't be surprised to hear that Leeds will not say if and when they'll follow customary practice and move Iestyn Harris up to a half-back position.
So, play in the centre portion of the field with Forshaw. James Lowe's, Anderson, thought about the pass, decided to accept the tackle. Now, we mentioned the man who scored a try in 47 and 49, and there is the great Welsh second-row forward Trevor Foster, who is now the official timekeeper of the Bradford Bulls at the ripe old age of 82. Harris. Anthony Farrell, the player with the ball. Iestyn Harris. Jackson to Blackmore. Held man and ball by Paul Anderson. Now Glanville. Another driving, powerful run. It's the last tackle. It'll be the kick from Darryl Powell. Lofted high towards Stuart Spruce. The bounce is awkward. Spruce slips. Vaikona goes back, and Adrian Morley is there to tag him around his shins.
Well, I know they watered the field about half an hour before kick-off, but it does drain exceptionally well. But Stuart Spruce on this occasion just loses his footing. I think he half expected the ball to bounce back towards him, and lucky for Stuart Spruce and for the Bradford Bulls, Vaikona was there to tidy up.
You're absolutely right, Joe. Your point about history not really counting for a great deal today, because this is very much an event between two of the current super heavyweights of British Rugby League.
I'm reliably informed that this man with the ball has just passed the ball. Iestyn Harris actually won the towing cost before the game, elected to play with the wind and with this what is a very strong sunlight at their backs, and I think that those elements, which are now in the favour of the Bradford Bulls, could have a huge influence on how this game turns out.
Darryl Powell to Adrian Morley, trying to straighten up. Oh, wrestling match in the tackle. And then the ball goes loose, penalty to Leeds.
Call now, they've got to get off.
He says you have to release the player. When the tackle's completed, if the referee calls held, as he said, then you must release instantly. Not always the easiest thing to do, but Henry Paul had a hand on the ball and just caused a penalty. The first chance in this second half, first real chance to the Leeds Rhinos.
Of course, if we think about consigning history to the dustbin, Joe, then we can forget about your 6 Challenge Cup winners' medals. So I'm afraid you're out of a job.
Bye-bye.
No, you wouldn't want to leave now, not at 10 apiece in a Challenge Cup semi-final.
Well, actually, it may be better just to sit and watch this game, because you know it's hard to concentrate on. You just want to enjoy it, really.
This is Iestyn Harris, last year's man of steel, who I assure you has a mind of steel. Totally focused on the ball and the posts and precious little else. Oh, hit the top of the post and bounced straight into some grateful Bradford arms.
I don't think I've ever seen that. It seemed to be going over. A lick of paint either direction, either side of the post would have caused it to go in or out, but this bounces straight on top.
Joe, he's had a bet, I have to say. He must have had a bet. It's the only explanation for something that we could watch rugby league again for 40 years and not see.
Leeds are going to make a change, a significant one. Marcus St-Hilaire is going to come on. Daryl Powell is going to come off. That presumably means that Iestyn Harris will move up to the half-back position.
And it's always a key moment in the game when Iestyn Harris moves up into the line. This is Iestyn Harris at full-back at the moment. And now Leroy Rivette. The pass from Harris didn't do him too many favours, and he just had to gratefully accept the attentions of the two tacklers. Harris once again. Blackmore. Bradford have sent on Jeremy Donegal in place of Paul Anderson. Donegal, who had a storming game in the 1996 semi-final against Leeds here, which Bradford of course won. Glanville, right on what on occasions is the centre spot, but sadly Daryl Powell in his first ever semi-final looks like his experience might be about to come to an end. Meantime, Vicona has fielded the ball for Bradford behind his own line, and has he escaped? I think he just has from beyond his own try line. A close run thing, and Leeds sensing their opportunity, tigerishly into every tackle.
And there's Marcus St-Hilaire on the field for Daryl Powell. I think this would be a half and half, tactical and half because of Daryl Powell's injury. But St-Hilaire has gone straight back into the full-back position. Here's the penalty for Bradford. Again, just sloppy around the play of the ball area.
Yeah, it's getting difficult for the Leeds Rhinos. Daryl Powell's gone off with a ligament injury in his left ankle. That could be serious. I don't think Powell will be able to play any further part in this game. And Richie Blackmore too is struggling. Richie Blackmore has a groin strain, so they're keeping a close eye on him.
Well, Richie Blackmore in fact needs an operation on his abductor muscle injury, which basically is a groin injury. There was some doubt throughout the week as to whether he'd play. He did play one game last year with a pain-killing injection and said never again. But he's out there at the moment, but for how much longer? We can only wait and see. This is Fleary. And you do feel for Daryl Powell, who has contested the Challenge Cup so often, 15 seasons in the competition, never made the last 4. And when he does, he's forced off with injury. Penalty to Bradford.
Well, again, Montagna in the play of the ball area, but this time the penalty goes against the team in possession. Good kick from Henry Paul, using the wind. And it's much easier for those forwards to advance downfield with the head of a kick.
Well, this is what they're now trying to do with Brian McDermott. Lowe's. Robbie Paul to Jeremy Donegal. Long striding forward. Lowe's again. This time it's Henry Paul. Almost broke clear of Jamie Matthews' tackle, then tried to play the ball. And tried to play the ball before even the tackle had been properly completed, I think. It was a real mess, and it's going to be a scrum with a put into Leeds.
The referee saying he never really had control of it, tried to play the ball too quick. Lost control. He's going to give the knock on, but gave the penalty.
Here's Harris.
Sorry, my mistake, didn't give the penalty, it was a scrum down.
Leeds with Blackmore. The engine is injured. That Sort of tackle won't do him a great deal of good. Lee Jackson going on the short side and no one went with him, and Danny Peacock has been left trailing. This is Lee Jackson, who made a good 30 metres before being hauled to the turn. And referee Russell Smith is reaching for his pocket. It's going to be a sin binning. Jeremy Donegan being sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes.
The patience of referee Russell Smith was fraying. Again, another infringement at the play of the ball, not releasing the player to let him play the ball quickly. And on this occasion, 10 minutes in the sin bin. Now let's see if Bradford can contain Leeds, who have the numerical advantage.
Sheridan to Glanville. Glanville with three to his left. One of them is Morley. Morley taking the tackle. 15, 16 metres out. Sheridan, the fulcrum for Leeds, and now the battering ram, Darren Fleary. Just 10 metres now. And Bradford trying to wave players across to the far side to provide some defensive cover. Michael Withers furiously gesticulating to some of his colleagues to move across. Harris with the long pass to Richie Blackmore. And offloaded to Leroy Rivette, but he's been crowded out, and he'll come back across field, still searching for a gap. The last tackle. What will Leeds try and do? They need something from this foray upfield. Offloaded to Sheridan, the pass goes to ground, but still it's alive with Francis Cummins, and Cummins stretches. Did he make it? The touch judge actually fell over as Cummins stretched for the line. Russell Smith is asking for the video referee to adjudicate.
Make sure. Jimmy, he went down anyway.
This is Francis Cummins going for the line. You may get a glimpse of the touch judge on the right of your screen falling over just after the try had been scored. Down he goes, down Cummins went, but was it a try?
I think it was. The ball didn't go clean to hand, but Francis Cummins was able to collect. And I think the referee, Mr. Molyneux, actually, I don't think he fell. I think he just got in a good position to see whether Francis Cummins made contact with the touchline, and he didn't. Not for me. I think that's a good try. Leeds desperately trying to get the ball wide. Francis Cummins collects and just gets in at the corner.
Francis Cummins, the youngest ever Challenge Cup finalist at the tender age of 17 when he scored a try in the 1994 final against Wigan, a try scorer in the 1996 semi-final against Bradford here. Russell Smith waiting for the adjudication of David Asquith, the video referee, who is watching these very same pictures as we are.
And while they have the opportunity, I think they were checking every possible angle, also making sure he didn't knock on when he collected the ball, making sure the ball didn't go forward. And obviously there was something wrong. I didn't pick it up.
Well, there is an air of surprise from large areas of the stadium, but no try.
Well, the play's already gone back. The Leeds players certainly into the position expecting the try. I think just check where the ball eventually was collected and did it go forward. And I think that's your answer.
The cut of the turf actually is a guide, isn't it?
He collected okay, but it was in a forward position. And although the pass didn't go to hand, the referee and his officials, again, using the technology.
So Leeds have had two opportunities to poke their noses in front with that Harris penalty that hit the top of one of the posts. And then that surge towards the line by Francis Cummins, who's searching for the 100th try of his career. And is still searching for the mark that will take him to the century. Stuart Spruce.
You have to give credit to Dave Asquith, the video referee. He took his time, made sure that everything was looked at, and in the end did find fault. But if you've got the technology, let's use it.
Yes, it's worth the stoppage in the game just to make sure that things are absolutely legal, particularly in a game that's as tight as yesterday's or as tight as this. Darren Fleary. Leeds aiming for a third final in 6 years, and their 17th overall. For Bradford, it will be a third final in 4 years. But which of these two giants of the game are going to make it through? We're no nearer knowing now than we were at 2 o'clock when we kicked off. Last tackle, Ryan Sheridan, impish scrum half with the chip over the top of Stuart Spruce, the fullback. Bounce is not the best, but Spruce has gathered and got outside of his own in-goal area and a little further than Leeds would have wanted. And that's a penalty. Again, play the ball, the problem area. Jeremy Donegar already has been sin-binned.
Complete breakaway, that's just control defence.
If you understood that, he said, I think that Henry Paul asked the question why he wasn't sin-binned on that occasion, why the Leeds player wasn't sin-binned, and he said the other one was a breakaway, and therefore it was deliberately slowing the play down. This was controlled defence, he said.
So Bradford on the attack now with Robbie Paul. Only needs half a chance and half a gap. That was about a quarter of a gap. Here's Withers, the wingman. First Leeds going so close to a try at one end, and now Bradford with an opportunity at the other. Robbie Paul with the offload to Danny Peacock, who took the ball at pace but took the tackle at the same time. Lowe's showing the ball but not releasing it. Now he does to Peacock. Leeds defence now will be fully tested. Brian McDermott bouncing away and held up on the line.
That's the handover. A reverse in this half with Leeds now dominating. It was Bradford that started the game with all the possession and all the territory. Leeds have taken control in this half.
Here's Adrian Morley. Lee Jackson to Mark Glanville. Glanville, the former Newcastle Knight, won the grand final down under with Newcastle against Manly 2 years ago, when Malcolm Reilly was the Newcastle coach. Now, of course, in charge here at the Huddersfield Giants Club. But it's Leeds and Bradford that concern us at this stage, and here's Iestyn Harris, brushing off the attentions of Lowe's, and then the kick through, and the chase is on for Cummins and Vicona. Vicona should get there, but can he then escape for his own in-goal area? And he can, with some style, and then did well to keep himself within bounds. Scott Naylor.
What a tussle, great kick, great defence by Bradford Bulls and Vicona in particular, keeping the ball in the field of play.
Oh, there's an extra man on the outside, it's Danny Peacock. Peacock through the tackle of Rivett. The pass to Henry Paul, and it's picked up now by Mark Glanville for Leeds. He allows the ball to go loose, and Withers has it for Bradford. Ceaseless action at Huddersfield. Both sides giving absolutely everything. 2 players down, one from each team on the far side. Here's Boyle. We've almost had an hour of play. Very shortly, Jeremy Donegar will be allowed to rejoin the Bradford team to restore them to their full complement after his sin binning. That's about a minute away. Robbie Paul. That sidestep is devastating. Forshaw trying to straighten up. Leeds players hurling themselves towards the ball carrier. James Lowe's not going to manage that twice. Managed it for his try. It's the handover.
Yeah, James Lowe's managed to regather the ball.
Well, it's a graphic scene out there because half of the Leeds players, as that ball was carried forward, were virtually at a standstill, some on their knees. The physiotherapist, Seamus McCallion, in picture there, rushed off his feet. And a worry over Jamie Matthew as well, who's down on his haunches. Barry McDermott is back with us. He's on in place of Darren Fleary. There's Fleary taking a breather. Terry Newton Did well to get the ball away to Sheridan, and Sheridan, like quicksilver, steps away past Stuart Spruce, but not beyond Stuart Spruce, who himself stretched out and made the tackle round the ankles. Yestin Harris, so many options. One of them was Glanville. Ball still alive, went backwards. So Leeds will be allowed to carry on. Harris. Now St Hilaire. And now Barry McDermott, barging his way to within 7.5 metres. And here's Marcus St Hilaire. Arm in the air, ball on the ground. Leeds in front in this semi-final for the first time after an hour of play.
And the Leeds substitution, Marcus St Hilaire, made it look so simple. Took the perfect opportunity for him. Picked it up with the acting half-back and just strode through the gap. The pressure was applied by the forwards. Barry McDermott, the big prop forward from the Leeds Rhinos, took it to the centre field. Only a couple of yards short of the line. A quick play of the ball, St Hilaire in the confusion. The markers weren't straight for the Bradford Bulls. Brian McDermott from Bradford couldn't get back. The step from St Hilaire points a finger to say this is the try that could take us to Wembley, possibly. What a step. Beating David Boyle. He knows he's crossed the line, he knows he's scored a great try. There's the Bradford confusion. The markers weren't straight. And a great try from Marcus St Hilaire.
Well, it's the sort of sporting achievement for which, in sports terms, a sainthood could be conferred, but there's no need in his case, is there? Yestin Harris trying to put Leeds 6 points in front. One or two internal debates going on behind the posts. This should be straightforward. Well, most of the noise is coming from those who follow the Rhinos. Only one win in the last 8 games against Bradford. How dearly they'd love to make it 2 in 9 on such a significant stage.
This is a quick footwork from St Hilaire that resulted in the try. A quick pick-up, went into the acting half-back position and crossed for the line. It's now the Bradford Bulls' turn to fight their way back into this match.
Well, it is not something that Bradford have experienced too often this season. They were behind very early in their Super League matches against Hull and against Sheffield, but to be behind at this later stage of the game is more worrying for them. Here's Sheridan, whose initial break set up the position for Leeds.
Darryl Powell's back on the Rhinos bench with a calf injury. Darryl, you could have been on your way home after quarter hour of this game. What a turnaround.
Yes, Bradford certainly came out very well, and they put a lot of pressure on us, and we struggled a bit in the first 20 minutes, but we've all credit to everybody concerned. We've got ourselves back in the game, and we're looking on top at the moment, but it's not won yet. It's a long way to go.
Thanks, Darryl.
Darryl Powell, whose wife Janice was a guest of the Sheffield club on their historic day at Wembley last May. And of course, he was such a loyal servant to the Sheffield Eagles in their formative years. Brian McDermott. And what can be going through the minds of the two coaches sitting up in the stands? Contrasting emotions for Matthew Elliott of the Bradford Bulls and Graham Murray of Leeds. For Graham Murray, a last tilt at the Challenge Cup. He leaves Leeds to go to North Sydney at the end of the season. Matthew Elliott, who coached Bradford to victory, well, to the final 2 years ago. Neither of them are prone to show their emotions openly.
Now, two cool customers there. They realise there's a long way to go in this game. Good kick from the Bradford Bulls, turning the Leeds defence around, pushing the ball into the corner.
Well, the image created by these two sides is a triumph for the modern marketing men in the sport of rugby league. We've got a blood bin. Barry McDermott is going off for Leeds. This doesn't count as a regulation substitution, but he needs to be attended to with blood seeping from a wound. Send on Darren Fleary to replace McDermott, who goes to the blood bin. Sheridan. Yestin Harris. Spinning away from two. Taken by two more. Terry Newton. Many of the other games being played in the Northern Fork Premiership, the old First Division, have actually had their kick-off times altered today so that the players and spectators can watch this game. Such is the magnitude of this Challenge Cup semi-final. Harris. Oh, the ball's gone loose. Godden's picked it up. The referee will bring play back.
Edwin Molly just ducked down, trying to protect the ball, but I think he collided with Scott Naylor's knee.
Robbie Paul. By the hands of Henry Paul to Scott Naylor. Bradford desperately needs some inspiration from somewhere. They've had it so frequently in the past. But now is when they really need to produce. Henry Paul, closely watched. David Boyle. By Kona. Tackle was by Lee Jackson. Another player of some prominence who has yet to play in a Challenge Cup final at Wembley. Robbie Paul, still plenty of work to do. Robbie Paul with the pass, was it forward or not? Apparently not. Withers, back to Robbie Paul, ball's gone loose right on the line. Leeds bring it away. The referee will pull play back again.
I didn't know we were going to break away, and no advantage near your line.
Referee Russell Smith, they're explaining that he didn't get advantage because he was so close to the line. He didn't know that St Hilaire was going to get the chance to break away. Pass inside. Robbie Paul couldn't collect. Neither could Jowett.
Just in the background, you heard one of the Bradford players saying, "Well done, Russell," as well, because it wasn't something that they would argue with too much, with Leeds breaking away, I suppose. Jamie Matthew is the Leeds player down. Barry McDermott has been attended to in the blood bin. And Mark Glanville is going off. Marvin Golden as well is on for Leeds. Here's Glanville. Glanville, the man who comes from Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. The Australian influence on the Challenge Cup, as strong as ever. This, in passing, is the first time that all four semi-final coaches have been Australians. Graham Murray and Matthew Elliott today, Dan Staines and Stuart Raper in that classic of a game at Headingley yesterday. And London Broncos awaiting the winners of this titanic struggle. Leroy Rivette, the subject of some illegal attentions, and Leeds have a penalty.
Henry Paul penalised just for a second effort. The referee must have called hell in the tackle.
All in. Lee Jackson at dummy half. Darren Fleary. Leeds clinging to this 6-point advantage, which has been established pretty late in the game. Marvin Golden. Lee Jackson. This is what they're looking at Jackson to do. Make some yards. Held almost around the neck by Jeremy Donegan. Harris with the kick. And St Hilaire, who scored once already, is off in hot pursuit, and Withers is in a little bit of trouble close to his own try line, and he's not going to get very far. Robbie Paul. Now Warren Jowett. The noise level around the McAlpine Stadium has never been anything other than pretty high and pretty incessant this afternoon, and we are rising now towards a crescendo from this record crowd of 23,400. That's the official figure. It's the biggest crowd ever to watch a sporting event in this stadium. Francis Cummins picks the ball up, referee's whistle will go. Ball went forward.
You're an accidental offside. Play the ball.
10 minutes to go.
That was an accidental offside, the referee said there, so it still Leeds to retain possession.
Leeds' last trophy was the Yorkshire Cup in 1988, and in terms of really major trophies, the Regal Trophy of 1984. Barry McDermott still waiting to come back on. Lee Jackson. Adrian Morley. Harris. Running laterally. Urging support from Terry Newton, who's broken a tackle up towards Stuart Spruce. Now it's Marvin Golden. Referee's arm upraised for the last tackle. They're going to run it through Sheridan, who then goes for the drop goal. And Russell Smith says it is successful, and that could be so crucial because it means that Bradford have to score twice.
Twice at least. A little chip shot from Ryan Sheridan, the 23-year-old, so influential in getting Leeds this far in the competition. Realises the importance of 1 point, steps up, doesn't bang it too hard, just little chip shot. But more important is it's accurate. And as you said, John, that means that Bradford have to score at least twice.
The gap is 7 points now, with less than 10 minutes remaining. Is that going to be the point that effectively takes Leeds back to Wembley? We shall see, for sure. Bradford have got so many players who can change the face in the course of a game, but Barry McDermott has regathered possession for Leeds. Now, what about the game plans now, Joe? I mean, Bradford obviously have to go for it, but what do Leeds do? Do they try and add to their lead or just keep what they have?
Well, with teams of the quality we've got here, you cannot afford to just sit back and say, well, the game is won. We saw Bradford there doing a short kick-off, and uncharacteristically, instead of retaining possession, trying to put a loose pass out, and Leeds lucky to come up with it. But Leeds, I think, will be the type of team that will say, let's go forward again and let's try and get a try. If not, we'll go for the 1 point. Who knows, we may get a penalty, but they'll try and keep the pressure on Bradford, realising that they have players that can score from any part of the field.
Harris with a kick that hangs in the breeze and is taken fairly majestically by the Bradford fullback Stuart Spruce. Twice a loser in a Wembley Challenge Cup final. No one remembers the losers in a Challenge Cup semi-final. Lowe's. Withers. David Boyle. The intensity of this contest has been maintained remarkably, really. When you consider what the two sets of players have been asked to give and have produced without argument. Oh, the pass from Henry Paul, bounced off Scott Naylor. And Leeds grateful to accept the ball back again. Francis Cummins. Yestin Harris. Marvin Golden. Morley. Lee Jackson. Yestin Harris. Two outside him. The long pass finds the wingman Cummins. Cummins faced immediately by Tavita Vaikona. Again, it's the last tackle. Once more, it's Harris at the centre of things, finding touch. Watching on the Leeds chief executive, Gary Hetherington, and there his wife Kath, who's running the Gateshead Thunder Club, the new franchise in Super League. Gary, a former player and coach, the man who founded the Sheffield Eagles. It's the 26th season that he's been involved in the Challenge Cup, and he has never reached a final. And for Graham Murray, well, it could be a Challenge Cup final in his farewell season with the Rhinos. Oh, poor pass. Really poor pass, and Ziste had not too much chance of picking it up round by his boots.
That could be a huge mistake, right in the shadow of their own post. Robbie Paul let the ball go in front of him, and Withers couldn't collect it. And we saw Graham Murray there shouting his team on. The pressure is beginning to show. This is the best chance he'll ever have. Graham Murray, there's Matthew
Matthew Elliott, the Bradford coach, but his opposite number has only ever been to Wembley on 2 occasions officially. One was to watch the 1984 final, in which our co-commentator here was the man of the match, witness against Wigan. He also went to a game in the 1995 World Cup. And there is a lovely story that we'll relate to you in a moment about Graham Murray, but might get him into trouble with the authorities. So we'll take a view on that. Cummins to Sheridan. Graham Murray's side well in charge. This is Fleary. Another score would finish it. Another score would take Leeds Rhinos to Wembley. Jackson to Sheridan. They need one more inventive moment, one more inventive pass. It's Justin Harris, and Harris scores the try that takes Leeds back to Wembley Stadium. Graham Murray up off his seat because he knows that that is the score that will break the hearts of the Bradford Bulls. The handshakes begin, and Leeds against London is going to be this year's Wembley showpiece.
The downbeat faces of the Bradford players on the bench. It's the Leeds Rhinos who are celebrating. Justin Harris, so influential in this team. Not a lot on. It seemed that the Bradford defence were able to contain the Leeds Rhinos. Justin Harris got the ball, he had options either side. Sheridan puts the pass in. Harris, a little step, shows a dummy. Another step and a swerve. Gets his body to do 360 and over the line. Barry McDermott the key to that, the support run on the inside, players watching him, but Harris has enough skill to go on his own for the try that will surely take the Leeds Rhinos to Wembley.
Justin Harris, who scored the try with an academic conversion. This for a team that trailed by 10 points to 2. And yet now they lead by 23 points to 10. What a turnaround. And time is fast running out. Graham Murray now can begin his planning for Wembley. We mentioned that little tale about him. In fact, he was so impressed with Wembley when he was living in London as a young Australian in the 1980s that 2 days after the Challenge Cup final, he took the train to Wembley and actually sneaked back into the stadium just to have a close-up look at the playing surface. He never thought he'd get as close a look again, but he will do on May the 1st. Jamie Matthew. The authorities can't take retrospective action 15 years on, Joe, can they?
I don't think so. And the performance of the Leeds Rhinos players, he'll be delighted no matter what happens today. They've really performed. They never started the game well. They were shocked in that opening exchange, but they've come good, particularly in the second half.
Lee Jackson gets the Man of the Match award. And here's Barry McDermott. Bradford really just having to go through the motions now. These are the most agonising moments for them, because all they will want to do is to disappear back towards the sanctuary and the solitude of the dressing room. Last tackle, Justin Harris hardly breaking sweat in putting that into touch. Downcast faces for those playing for Bradford. And some of the Leeds team barely able to suppress a smile. For all the flair and invention of the Pauls, it is Leeds who are going to go through. Ball went backwards from Henry Paul. It's a fruitless task now. Bradford have looked so impressive this season, but Leeds have done it the hard way. They've knocked out Wigan, they've knocked out St Helens, they've won at Widnes, and now they've knocked out the side who in 2 of the last 3 years have reached the final.
This in normal circumstances would be quite a useful kick, although it went dead. But Bradford are just rocked now. They are dead on their feet almost. You can hear the chants of the Leeds Rhino fans. We're inside the last minute plus stoppages.
Well, Leeds, a side who have underachieved so dramatically down the years. 1978 since last they won the Challenge Cup. Sid Hines with that team that included Les Dill and John Atkinson and John Holmes. But these are the modern heroes, and they will start as firm favourites to win the Challenge Cup against London for the first time in 21 years. That, of course, as Sheffield showed last year, counts for absolutely nothing. Harris hurls the pass to Francis Cummins, who left the ball behind. The hooter hasn't gone yet, but it will do very, very shortly. Jackson's kick. Leeds, like Bradford, going through the motions, but with joy in their hearts at this late juncture, willing the hooter to go. These two packs have given their all, and Graham Murray almost having to fight back a tear on the bench. He said last season when he first arrived he didn't appreciate precisely what the Challenge Cup really meant, but now he has a firm grasp and understanding of precisely what this prestigious competition is all about. Here's Vicona for Bradford, looking for a very late and very scant consolation. Leeds tackling, holding firm. Leeds fans poised. They left their seats long ago. They're standing up and getting every possible vantage point, banging their hands against the advertising hoardings in support of their side. Robbie Paul. Now James Lowes, the former Leeds player. And everything going Leeds' way as Blackmore regathers. And Leeds just now need to see out this set of 6. Lee Jackson. Oh, careless pass. Taken on the bounce by Cummins. Oh, and Cummins could go all the way. He just had his ankle tapped, and then Doniger came in late. Jackson. Referee has to duck out of the way. Lee Jackson, the man of the match, hanging on to the ball for as many seconds as possible. Brad Godden. Ball went backwards off Barry McDermott. Leeds breaking their Huddersfield hoodoo. It'll be their first semi-final victory in this town for 52 years. And 5 successive defeats in Huddersfield, now put firmly into the realms of memory. The kick from Harris is good.
No need to do anything extraordinary, just run the clock down, putting the ball into touch with the kick. The Packs will take their time to walk to the scrum.
And all you can hear now is the cries of Wembley. And the hooter means that the Leeds Rhinos are back at Wembley Stadium. Iestyn Harris, the star turn in a truly impressive performance. A titanic semi-final struggle, but one of the biggest names in rugby league, who have seldom matched achievement to their great history, have the chance now to win the Challenge Cup for the first time since 1978. Joyous scenes right around the McAlpine Stadium from this record crowd. And down on the touchline, Richard Duckenfield with some of those closely involved.
Graham Murray, Leeds coach, congratulations. Your feelings now?
Yeah, it's tremendous. We've worked pretty hard over 12 months to get this. It was a tough game, but I mean, we've got some quality footballers here, and fellas, that it means a lot to them.
Quite a comeback, really. You looked, after 20 minutes, like a beaten side, really.
Well, we did, and we were missing tackles, and we were doing some things wrong, but the quality of the football team, not every time it's going to go right for you. When it did go right, well, we proved we're a pretty good side.
What were you saying at half-time? Because I think maybe you were the happier of the coaches at half-time, weren't you?
Well, I think I was. At 10-all, it was a bit of a struggle, and I thought we hadn't played that well. We're only going to play a little bit better, and we were in this with a big shout, and we were.
There were times when it looked as though you had patched-up players out there, really.
Oh, well, there's a bit of character there, isn't it? There was plenty of patched up there, bloke, but it's under the left ticker there, on the left chest it counts, and they got plenty of it.
This is a genuine performance, really, because, as we said before the game, Leeds have played the hardest teams on the way in this match, haven't they?
No one can deny us beating at Wembley after our draw, but this was a tremendous win for us and the club.
All you got to do is win the cup and you'll be able to go off to North Sydney happily.
Well, we've got a tough draw, you know, but London at London, so it's an away game for us, home game for them.
Thanks, Graham. The man of the match, Lee Jackson, congratulations. That was a tremendous game to play in, Lee, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was a really good game, and unfortunately there's got to be a loser, but thank God it's not us.
Why the turnaround? Can you explain it? Because Leeds Rhinos for 20 minutes didn't look like a side that were going to win that game.
No, we just made too many unforced errors, penalties against us, and we just couldn't get that good go forward. And when we started to, we started to go well.
You really had to dig deep though in times, didn't you?
Obviously, we didn't touch the ball for 5-10 minutes. So you've got to dig deep, and the reserves enough on fitness. Is do you good.
I don't know if this is secret information, but you just shaded the Man of the Match award with Ryan Sheridan.
Oh, no, there's 17 players out there. No, they all deserve Man of the Match, not just me. No, it's a team game.
So it's Wembley, it's London Broncos. Looking good for Leeds, really, isn't it?
Well, we're just having a bit of fun at the moment, and hopefully we can keep going.
Thanks very much. And here's Iestyn Harris. Congratulations, Iestyn, well done. This is going to be a big occasion for you, really, isn't it, at Wembley?
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. It was very, very tough. All credit to Bradford. They give us a really, really tough game. But we're at Wembley now, and we won't be concentrating on that just yet. We've got a few league games to go before that, but it's great to be there.
It says a great deal for the spirit of the Leeds side, because they spent half the first half not looking in very good form at all.
No, we didn't. We had a lot of defending to do in the first half. We didn't play very well. We got in at half-time and we just calmed ourselves down. And so, we're at 10-all now. We got a really good chance in the second half, and all credit to our forwards and all our backs as well. They played outstanding in that second half.
It's been a hard road for Leeds, hasn't it? You've played all the top sides.
Well, no one can say we've done it the easy way, put it that way. So, yeah, we played some really good sides, and we're just glad to get there now.
Great forward performance, I thought, by some of the Leeds boys.
Yeah, we knew exactly what to expect from Bradford. We knew it was going to be tough on the forwards, and really we stood up strong against them, and we've done really well to get the victory.
You'll enjoy some celebrations tonight?
Yeah, we'll have a few pints, I think. So, yeah, it should be a good night.
Congratulations, Iestyn. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Iestyn Harris and Gary Hetherington about to experience Wembley for the first time, and for the current era for the last time as well. It should be quite a final between the new force, the London Broncos, and the old established force of the Leeds Rhinos, who in the past have performed many great deeds, but in current terms the cupboard is rather bare. That may not be the case on May the 1st. They have beaten the favourites consistently throughout this competition, and now they themselves go forward to Wembley as firm favourites after a thrilling semi-final victory.
Leeds back.